to Sideline Savants, a fantasy football podcast dedicated to helping you set your lineups, navigate the waiver wire, prepare for bye weeks, strategically plan trades, and ultimately win your matchup. Do you have what it takes to become a Sideline Savant? Welcome, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us today. Just finished up week 4 in the NFL, fantasy football in full swing. So, feeling a little golfy today. We just came out of the weekend where the USA team, needless to say, got lambasted by the Europeans in the Ryder Cup. I was hoping we'd had a little better showing, but we definitely have some work to do there. Tiger Woods is not walking through that door, guys. We got to do something here with that Ryder Cup. But I am joined by my man, Mr. Podcast Smitty, Shannon Smith. Thank you very much for joining me today, man. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. Squeaked by this week in my fantasy for win number 3, but hey, I'm ready to talk about it. Let's go.
It was an up and down week, and also a kind of a gruesome week too, and we'll get into that a little bit here. But again, we always got to start it off with our studs of the weekend. My man Smitty, who was your stud of the weekend?
Well, once again, emphasis on low scoring week for your man podcast, Smitty. I have got, surprisingly, another Colt. Michael Pittman Jr. was
Wow.
my stud muffin of the week. He had 15 points. He was up and down, of course, the Danny Dimes magic, the Indiana Jones magic, whatever you want to call it. It wore off. A very tough game with the
A little
Rams.
bit.
It did. It wore off a little bit. It was cool, but it's still there, because it's only one loss. But with Michael Pittman Jr., he was a consistent player on the offense this week. It's kind of scary when he's the consistent guy and it's not Jonathan Taylor. But
Right.
hey, I'll take it. We were able to get it done. Team Quick Hits was able to do it. Thank you, Michael Pittman Jr.
I like it. And yeah, that Rams defense is legit. So, and they have a good team. So, and we'll talk about defenses here in a little bit, but my stud of the week helped me out tremendously in a bunch of my leagues here. So I want to give some love because I gave some love last week. So I got to give some more love. So I'm feeling Romeo 3 times in the end zone. Let's go. I got to give a shout out to my man Romeo Dobbs showing up 100% in the end zone with that helmet that he wears there, the protective helmet, the halo makes him look like he's got a mushroom on his head, but he kind of has that was it the Mario Brothers, the little mushroom
Toad.
guys? Yeah,
Toad.
the toad. Yeah, little toad there. But hey, it's all about being safe. I ain't gonna knock them. And hey, if you're gonna score 3 touchdowns, wear it. So thank you to Romeo Dobbs, Romeo. I love you. Thank you so much. What a great performance from him. So there was a lot of studs out there this week. So, and we'll get into some of that here too. But again with the golf tournament this weekend, I used to play golf back in the day. I probably can get out there and swing a club if I had to, but I don't do as much golf as I used to. But I am feeling it. I'm feeling that golf vibe right now. So, my man, I gotta pass this off to you because you did something on your show that I thought was awesome. So, Mr. Podcast Smitty, I'm handing the reins off over to you on this show right now. I'm gonna let you take over this segment, man. What are we getting into right now?
All right. So what Jason is talking about is on my show on one of the episodes. I did a segment called Golf Clap, Round of Applause, Standing Ovation. And that is where I give kudos to teams or players. And when I say golf clap, I say the game was, their game. And when it comes to fantasy football, they've been consistently good. Nothing off the charts, nothing too extravagant, but they've been consistently good. So I'm giving nods to those players that have been consistently good. The round of applause is the players that have been very good. They have showed up and showed out. Some of these players on here may be notable, might not be, but they've been very good. And of course, the standing ovation is the player that has just been absolutely off the charts. Had a crazy week. They may have been pretty good in the weeks prior, but they just had that week 4 was their coming out party. That's where the standing ovation is. So now that we've got it all, let's go ahead and find out who these players are. So
Yeah,
for,
I'm curious. I'm curious, man. What do you got?
let's go. So for the golf clap, my first is for Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield. I like it.
Now, Baker, the thing with Baker now, on the other hand, is Baker has been very consistent. And you also got to look at it as well, too. Baker probably would have had better numbers in fantasy had he had his weapons. Godwin has been out. He's had, Mike has been out. His main number one man has been out. Yeah. But then he had Emeka Mbuka just come out of nowhere and just be a great receiver. His pretty much went into his number one. And Baker, and let's just be honest right here, Baker has exceeded expectations at quarterback, after what went on with him in Cleveland, with Carolina. Now he looks like he's got a home in Tampa Bay. He's got a team that will build around him. So my golf clap player for quarterback is Baker Mayfield. Now,
I like it.
Now, at the running back position, the golf clap goes to your former Giants running back, Saquon Barkley. Now,
shout out Saquon. Oof, that hurts.
Now, the reason I say that is because, Saquon Barkley, after a monster year last year, he's been consistent. He has been consistent. Once again, that offense, how can I put it with Philadelphia's offense? 1 minute they're running the ball. 1 minute they're passing the ball. A.J. Brown, once again, the Candyman effect, had to talk him up in order for him to be good. You got Devontae Smith. You've got Goddard out of nowhere. Yeah. And then you have Jalen Hurts, who can just run and scramble the ball with the tush push. A lot of weapons. So
they had to fake tush push this weekend. Why haven't they pulled that out the bag before? I got to show that because Saquon got me the touchdown. I have in one of my leagues. The fake tush push. Like, come on, guys.
I love it.
That needs to be brought into more because that was phenomenal. Love it.
I love it. I mean, and I didn't think it could be done, which is crazy. I didn't think it could be done. But, considering the fact that they're a squad that does the tush push and they've mastered it and everything. So, hey, why not fake? Put in a fake. Make the defense. And then after that, go. And you take it to the outside. Or you put it in that gap where they're not even there.
I'm waiting for the Tim Tebow fake and then the jump pass. Yeah. I'm waiting for the jump. I'm waiting for the Tim Tebow jump pass over the line to a tight end. So that I think is coming too. So the more fakes off the tush push, I want to see that. That makes it. Then I really like it. I can't stand the tush push, but you start doing some chicanery and some trickeration. I love it.
Yeah. That's awesome. So, but yeah. A lot of weapons, and plus they're keying in on Saquon because the fact that he had 2,000 yards, over 2,000 yards last year. You kind of want to look at him on the offense. So yeah, of course they're stacking the box more. They're going to be hammering the box a lot more. So that's going to drain his fantasy points, and that's going to distribute the fantasy points out to everybody else. So my golf clap running back is Saquon Barkley, and now to the receiver position, we have Rome Odunze.
Oh, I love me some Rome. Not just because I'm Italian, but I think he's a superstar in the making.
Absolutely. That's the reason why his stats have kind of been in the consistent range as well, too, because he's not stepped into that number one just yet. But it's coming.
It's close.
But it's coming. And that's the thing about it. Once again, like I said last week, if Rome is burning, Caleb Williams has to be Nero, and he was less than Nero this past week.
Yeah. But Rome wasn't built in a day, so let's go.
I like that. Yes, you're right. You're absolutely correct. So that's the thing. The architect, Ben Johnson handling biz in there. They've got other options at receiver. He's building that offense, and that offense is looking very, very good. But Caleb Williams has to develop some consistency. And I think that's going to come with Rome Odunze getting involved in the offense.
Yeah.
So Rome is my receiver for the golf clap. And the tight end position, we have Brock Bowers.
I like Mr. Brock Bowers.
Once again, consistency has been the thing. He's been consistent, not off the charts, not jumped off the page like he did last year, but that's okay. Because once again, it's still in that offense. Geno Smith is getting to the point where he's firing the ball, but he's firing the ball to everybody. So that's another thing. So, of course, Brock Bowers is going to be keyed a lot more because of what he done last year. And now you have more guys making plays for the Raiders.
All right, guys, sorry about that. A little technical difficulty there, but we're back here, Mr. Shannon Smith giving us his golf claps. And you were just talking about Brock Bowers there, man. So I do love me some Bowers. Now I'm a little concerned. Geno's been throwing some INTs here lately, man. I think that has a little something to do with Bowers' productivity going down.
Definitely. So that's the reason why for the golf clap there, because I think Geno might be trying to sling it a little bit too much. He's getting productivity from Ashton Genty, who had a monster fantasy game.
Big game.
Big time. He played very, very well. I'm happy about that because I was a Genty guy when he was in college last year. Thought he should have won the Heisman Trophy. That's another story for another time.
Right.
On to Brock Bowers, though, that's what's giving me the golf clap for him, is that more than likely the consistency at quarterback is what it is. So Brock Bowers gets the golf clap. And now we're going to go into the round of applause part of the segment. This is for the players that have been very good. Some of these players you'll notice, some you may not. For the quarterback who deserves a round of applause is the one and only Patrick Mahomes.
He doesn't get enough. We got to give him some applause too. Oh my goodness.
Definitely. Coming off of 4 touchdowns in a very, very pivotal game. They're talking about how the Kansas City Chiefs might be on a down year. And yes, it does look dismal for them, but this game might be a turning point in this early NFL season. But Pat Mahomes dazzled in his 4 weeks here. He put up 27, I believe. It was 27 points, I believe, that he put up in this game, and he exceeded expectations, once again taking out a foe in Lamar Jackson, who I played this week. I didn't play Jordan Love like a fool. I squeaked by. That was one of the reasons why I squeaked by as well, too, because I thought I was overthinking it. I was like, I'm overthinking it. I'm going to go and play Lamar. He'll be fine. And as we can see, it would have been better to play Jordan Love. And Patrick Mahomes was a catalyst for that. So Patrick Mahomes, the round of applause quarterback, and your running back that deserves a round of applause, Run CMC Christian McCaffrey. I'm going to tell you, yes, the homer came out of me, yes. But Christian McCaffrey might be having some breath breathed back into him in fantasy. Not yet. Not going to say it because, once again, I'm a 49ers fan. I want him to stay throughout the duration of the season. But, it's Christian McCaffrey that we're talking about, and the injury bug has hit my 49ers. But as of right now, over 25 fantasy points in these back-to-back weeks that we have been playing. He's been using that offense with a carousel of quarterbacks and a carousel of offensive players. But Christian McCaffrey has been the mainstay for my 49ers running back for the round of applause, Christian McCaffrey. And my receiver for the round of applause, Garrett Wilson.
Wow. A Jet?
Yes.
A New York Jet?
Yes, a New York Jet, because the reason being is because of Justin Fields. The playmaker that he has been leaning on in the passing game has been Garrett Wilson, once again flying under the radar with the different quarterbacks that he has had. Justin Fields has had his grounding in the ground game.
Right.
a good running quarterback, but in those deep plays, those 10 to 15-yard passes, Garrett Wilson has found his way underneath them pretty much nine times out of 10. He's been helping the forward pass. He has done well with his fantasy points. I say still plug him in, still use him regardless of who is at quarterback.
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson, my round of applause. Wide receiver and the tight end position, of course. I think he has been the most consistent tight end this year. It's got to be Trey McBride.
Yeah.
Once again, I don't like to give love to anybody inside of the NFC West. But if there is a player that has been great on the Cardinals on the offensive end, when Marvin Harrison Jr. has kind of been down this year, Trey McBride has been the guy that has been there for Kyler Murray, been the security blanket for Kyler Murray, the safety blanket, whatever you want to call him. He has been there for Kyler Murray week in and week out in that passing game, whether it's short, intermediate yards. He has done that. He has put up points in fantasy consistently, double-digit points in these 4 weeks that we have been playing football. Round of applause. Tight end goes to Trey McBride. Now, everybody, for what we have been waiting for, those players.
The standing O.
The standing O. The standing ovation. And guess what, y'all? This is going to be the fun part because you're going to see me ingest crow right now because the standing ovation quarterback that deserves a standing ovation has to be Dak Prescott.
Terrible.
You know,
Terrible.
The real came up. I really feel like the real came up, and Jerry and Dak and George Pickens, everybody watched it and said, we're proving these guys wrong.
I hope they did.
And they sure did. I said, sit Dak Prescott. That man went out there and was the top scoring quarterback this week. He has
Balled
been up
out.
and down. He's been up and down these 3 weeks prior, and he puts up the most points, puts up 33 points out of a quarterback. I got to give credit where credit's due, the big Cowboy hater that I am. Dak Prescott, you, my friend, deserve a standing ovation. And my running back that is going to take a standing O has got to be James Cook.
Yeah.
Now, if Josh Allen is the single most important player on this offense, James Cook's got to be number 2 because the running game has been a big factor on this offense that really not a lot of people have seen, which if you're a fantasy owner of James Cook, if you got him on your team, you see it every week.
Yep.
He's been doing it every week. I would have to say out of the running backs here in the National Football League fantasy-wise, he's got to be number 2 behind Bijan Robinson right now when it comes down to points. He has to be. He's the important player. That's why they say running backs are the most important, because in the passing game, he has been used, but in the running game, he is absolutely utilized. So James Cook, you deserve a standing ovation for the running back. And at the wide receiver position, Puka Nacua.
He is a monster. Monster.
Once
the
again,
best wide receiver in the NFL.
Man, you know what? And I got to say right now, you're absolutely correct. I feel like you're right. You brought this up before we came on the air, and you know what? I believe it because, and when we're going to stop sleeping on Matthew Stafford? I mean, once again, I don't like giving love to any of the NFC West. I don't. But the Rams, that offense, the way Sean McVay's put that offense together, the way he has done it, with who could be in a surprise out of here, 1,400 yards in his rookie year. He's continuing to go. He got hurt last year. He's picking up where he left off and picking up in a big way. Devontae Adams being a second to him and liking the role as well, too. Devontae Adams has put up points for me on my fantasy team. Because they're key in Puka, and it doesn't matter. He's still getting it. Most points by receiver this week, yet again. Round of the standing ovation to Puka. Nakua, last but not least, at the tight end position, giving love to another Cowboy yet again, eating some crow, Jake Ferguson. Ah, man, once again, getting it done for Dak Prescott. You know, the game became a tie. Crazy how that came about. I didn't think we were watching hockey, but apparently we are. So,
Oof.
with all that being said, Jake Ferguson is the number one tight end in all of fantasy football right now, and rightfully so. He has been very good in his second role at receiver, with CeeDee Lamb being out for a significant amount of time and George Pickens sliding into that number one. Turpin being used with the Dallas offense as well too gets Jake Ferguson open field chances. He has been consistently over 11 points in all 4 weeks, being the big scorer. Been the big scorer this week, 4 tight ends. Very, very great game in a game that I thought he was going to get spanked in. So, Jake Ferguson, that is your standing ovation. Thank you very much, everybody.
I give you a standing ovation, Mr. Smitty. Fantastic. Thank you for doing that. Yeah, if you guys have not ever checked out Quick Hits with my man podcast, Smitty, please do so. He does a lot of great stuff, man. But I love that he did that and it was apropos that we did this coming out of the Ryder Cup weekend. But we had our standing ovations, but I got to call somebody out. We also had a Shankopotamus this weekend.
Woo!
And, you know, those of us that started Daniel Jones that were excited for his play went up against a solid Rams team. Wasn't his best game, but, you know, this guy right here, Anadai Mitchell, the bonehead play of the week. Guys, football 101. Don't let the ball go till you cross the goal line. That really hurt the Colts. It hurt their momentum. It hurt Daniel Jones' fantasy points. It hurt Mitchell's fantasy points. It hurt my feelings. I don't like it. So please don't do it again. So that's your bonehead Shankopotamus play of the weekend. Please, Mr. Mitchell, remember, hold the ball. We've had this happen before where guys celebrate and drop the ball before they go across the line. This one, he just kind of lost it. So I think he needs to work on some stickum or something on his gloves there. But yeah, that hurt a lot of fantasy people this weekend here with that play, and it was definitely not his best move, man. Not his best move. So, man, yeah, that hurt, and that killed me in a couple of my leagues there. So. Now we're going to get into some other discussions here. We got some questions to answer. Podcast Smitty, I got a bunch of questions I want to drop on you here. This week we're going to do cause and effect. You know, we had a cause. What's going to be the effect? So if you're ready, we're going to jump right into this. So, of course, coming out of the weekend as a New York Giants fan, it has been a bittersweet weekend. You know, a great performance by my man Jackson Dart was overshadowed by losing Malik Neighbors to a torn ACL. The turf monster there in the Meadowlands kind of got him. NFL, if you're listening, go back to real grass. Get rid of this turf stuff. Please. You're seeing that more and more, man. You're seeing these ACLs, you're seeing MCLs, you're seeing everything getting blown out right now, and a lot of it has to do with this field turf. But anyway, the cause, Malik Neighbors, torn ACL. He's out for the year. Effect. Will this affect Jackson Dart's fantasy worth moving forward? He had 21, almost 22 points in his first start, 111 yards and 1 touchdown. Didn't set it on fire, but still solid performance. Is not having Malik Neighbors going to affect his fantasy value moving forward?
Absolutely. This was their number one guy. He's a young receiver, having a even younger quarterback that has shown that he can distribute the ball and that he can do things with his legs. He can continue plays.
Right.
So I feel like that will be a significant loss because Neighbors is very, very vocal on that offense. And I don't, this is tough. This is going to put Jackson Dart into a tough position. I mean, I know Wandale Robinson's there, and he has a chance to be a number one. But I want Malik, and I'm pretty sure he would want Malik as well too. So I feel like it will cause a little bit of a stir for his fantasy points.
Yeah, and it was so exciting to watch Dart play, bring some excitement. You got Scatabo running the football. He looks phenomenal. But again, it is overshadowed, and unfortunately, this smelt like a desperation move for the coaching staff. I think they did this more or less to save their jobs, not that they thought he was ready. This was I think, a bad move. I am hoping, and I'm glad that Dart got out of this game without any injury. Really, I know he's got a little bit of a questionable tag on him, but everybody gets hurt in football. But to lose Malik Neighbors, huge blow to the New York Giants. So hopefully Jackson Dart can get through the rest of this season healthy. That's what I want to. That's really what I want to see. So all right, cause Joe Mixon, his availability is still in question. He was eligible to come off IR after Game 4. They did not bring him off. They're now talking about he may miss the rest of the year. So pending his return, you got Nick Chubb. And then now you got old Woody Marks showing up having a huge fantasy game. 27, almost 28 points, 119 yards, 2 touchdowns. Will Woody Marks be a fantasy running back stud for the rest of the year?
Of course. I think so, especially with the way that this offense is going. Once again, CJ Stroud was supposed to have a get back game, sort of. He did well. He did fine. And of course, anytime the other team doesn't score any points and you do, that's a great thing. But, I expected for CJ Stroud to be a little better in this game, of course, with no Tank Dell so far this year. You've got Nico Collins, and of course, getting 2 people on Nico Collins is going to be tough for you to throw the ball. That offensive line is kind of tough. They need a change of pace on that offense, and I think Woody Marks makes that happen, running the football and also being a backfield receiver as well too, to get CJ going, throwing the football and getting him back underneath to get that confidence in there. Woody Marks, I think, would be great. Why not go ahead and get him, put him in as a flex? Now he may not be your primary running back. That's the Saquon Barkley territory. That's the that's the different types of territory of receivers. That's your Christian McCaffrey type of receiver. Put him in as a flex and have him there. That's your Derrick Henry spot. Don't put him there. Put him in the flex. Go for it.
Right. I like it. But to me right now, that Houston offensive line is probably the worst offensive line, especially when it comes to pass protection. CJ Stroud, every time he drops back to throw the ball, he is getting mutilated. So a little disappointed in the Texans right now and that offensive line. So what Woody Marks is doing is even more impressive, as bad as that offensive line is. So yes, I'm throwing Woody Marks in there too, guys. If you haven't gotten him off the waiver wires yet, or tried to trade for him, do so, because I think he's going to be good going forward, especially with Mixon. It's not looking like he's going to play this year. So especially if Chubb and Marks hold down the fort, they're not going to rush Mixon back. So go out and get your guy. Cause and effect, CD out. This is affecting George Pickens now, the number 1 slot. Will that number 1 be relegated to George Pickens now when CD gets back, or is CD going to just automatically de facto take over that number 1 slot, even though Pickens is holding that spot down?
Pickens has got to keep that number 1. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I know CD got hurt. I know he's a guy. He's making number 1 money right now, but I'm one of those type of people. Go with what works. And this worked for week 1, for the first week without CD. It worked. Right. So I think it's a tentative thing right now, because you never know what could happen in these next couple weeks pending CD's return. Until then, keep George Pickens at that number 1 spot, and until proven otherwise, until he proves to you that he needs to be a number 2.
Right. It's going to be tough. I think it's 1A and 1B right now. Some of the plays that Pickens was making there with Dak just kind of closing his eyes and chucking up the football. George Pickens is that. I like that a lot. All right, so now let's get into Lamar. Cause Lamar pulling the hammy, looked like he's not going to be available for week 5 here. Will anybody on that offense save their fantasy relevance with no Lamar Jackson? Is Cooper Rush going to save D-Hop? Is he going to save Zay Flowers? Is he going to save Mark Andrews? Any of those guys? Do you see that happening?
No, I don't see that at all. Lamar Jackson is your end all be all right now. He's definitely an end all be all for me because I'm in a rock and a hard place because Jordan Love is on my bench and Jordan Love has the bye. So if he misses this week, I got to scramble for a quarterback probably around Thursday night. So this is going to be interesting, I would say. But, without Lamar Jackson, it's a trickle down effect for him, with Zay Flowers and with D-Hop and with Mark Andrews and with Derrick Henry. There's a trickle down to that offense because he is the offense. Let's just be honest with you. He is that offense. And so with him not being there, no disrespect to Cooper Rush, but you give me a choice of Lamar Jackson and Cooper Rush, I'm taking Lamar Jackson any day of the week. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah. Coop Dog, I don't know. He just hand the ball to Derrick Henry and let the chips fall where they may. So steady dose of Derrick Henry, but I think everybody else on that team is suspect now. So Zay Flowers, everybody. Oh, it's gonna be ugly until Lamar gets back in there. So it's definitely gonna be a run game. I'm not saying Cooper Rush can't make a throw every once in a while, but as far as consistency, Ravens wide receivers, that's gonna be rough going forward here until we hear more about they're keeping this pretty close to their vest about Lamar and how serious this injury is. So it's being interesting. So, and then my next question, and this will probably be maybe one of the only times we're going to talk about kickers here on Sideline Savants because they're kickers, but we got to show the kickers a little bit of love here. Block field goals are on the rise. We've had at least 18 since the season has started. 18 blocked field goals. It's crazy. Or extra points. It is nuts. We've seen some runbacks. We've seen 2-point conversions. We've seen a touchdown already. If you have a kicker in your fantasy league, does this really cause you pause on who you choose, on really getting any points out of your kicker? Do you trust your kicker moving forward with all this craziness that's going on with the kicking position and these block field goals?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I actually have a pretty good kicker. I've got Harrison Butker. I think I'm okay. But for those out there that might want to think about this might be a cause for panic, no, I don't think so. Because of course, kickers are like your turning the tide type of players. If you're like you were a week ago, where you had like the hair. You were close. You were razor thin. It was paper thin, whether you won or lost, and your kicker got blocked. Then okay, I can understand that. But if you're just adding on points and you're running it up and it's trash time basically, and you have like maybe 5 points out of your kicker, 2, 3, whatever that you get out of your kicker, I think you'll be okay. The block field goals. I don't know what's going on with that at all. Special teams coaches got to be looking at things differently and a lot better than what they have been. I think it's a lapse of execution and a lapse of coaching. I don't think it's anything to be afraid of in fantasy. I don't think so. You should be fine.
Gotcha. I blame it on the dynamic kickoff, the new dynamic kickoff, because you're seeing a lot of emphasis on that. You're seeing some big returns back on that. So I think the focus on blocking for field goals has been lost because of the dynamic kickoff there after scores in the beginning of the game. So I'm blaming it on that here with all this craziness when it comes to kickers. Because if your kicker's not kicking a 70-yard field goal, it's getting blocked. So kicker madness right now in the NFL. I love it. And it is trickling down to fantasy football because 1 point can make or break you're winning or losing that week. So just keep an eye out for that here. Let's see. It's starting to be a trend. And then finally, Tyreek Hill with a gruesome possible career-ending injury on Monday night. I don't have any video. Won't show any photos of that because I won't do that. And no, he dislocated his knee, tore all kinds of ligaments. Of needless to say, he's out for the year, and we'll see what happens going into next year and beyond. But man, that again overshadowed a performance on Monday night from Darren Waller. Waller the baller done showed up after like 2 years of being MIA, not really playing football, just being kind of regulated. No one just tossing him away. He was on the Giants for about 30 minutes. Have we seen a resurgence from Darren Waller? Like 2 touchdown performance. Is this the Las Vegas Raiders, because he was in Oakland when he played? Is this the Raiders, Darren Waller? Are we seeing somebody that's going to step into a position where now the Dolphins don't have Tyreek Hill? They still have Jalen Waddle, and they got some other pieces with Washington and a few other guys there. But now to have a stud tight end like Darren Waller back, will he continue this, or is this a one-off game?
They better hope to God he does continue it with the way that it's been going on in Miami. But as of right now, it's too early to tell. I say plug him in. Of course, plug him in, because if he's getting traction like that, you would be foolish not to try to get him plugged in. So you should at least give it a chance and go from there. I hope it is, to be honest with you, because with the injury of Tyreek Hill, I'm one of those type of people. I shall not, have not, and will not make fun of anybody getting hurt. That was tough, and that was bad. But also, too, when a door closes, another one opens. This could be an opportunity for Waller. This could be. He looked really good for someone who has been out for a while.
Yeah,
he looked really good. And so I was like, okay, yeah, that's great. But as of right now, it's too early to tell. But let's hope so.
I hope so too. I love watching the tight end position. They're usually big guys, strong guys, but to watch him do the toe tap in the end zone, he looks like he ain't missed a beat. And from just kind of the Dolphins taking a chance on him, for him to do what he did Monday night, I like it. But I need to see some more. So I'm tempering my excitement. We'll see what he can do next week. The Dolphins got a halfway decent win against a bad Jets team. Jets just doing Jets things again. But we'll see what happens, because in a thin tight end position in the NFL, we can definitely use another stud tight end. So hopefully you're back. Waller the baller. Let's see if you're back here, man. We'll see what happens this coming up week here. So, guys, I appreciate when you drop comments here on Sideline Savants. I read everything. I try to reply. I thank y'all for watching, and everybody that watched last week with the views. Thank you so much for checking us out here, joining myself and my man Podcast Smitty, man. We do appreciate it. We do enjoy that love, you guys checking us out here. Because we have regular jobs and we do this on the side, so like sleepless nights, and we try to do our thing to entertain you guys. So we appreciate it. But someone dropped a comment in last week's show about showing the defense some love. So we're going to do we're going to spread the love here, and we're going to talk about some defense. We're going to show the defense some respect here, because there is a lot of fantasy football teams out there that run with a defense. Currently, so far, top 5 defenses fantasy-wise this year are the Vikings, the Jacksonville Jaguars, up there with 50-plus points. The Seattle Seahawks are back. Maybe the 12th man is back. The Pittsburgh Steelers, who are always there because T.J. Watt's a stud, and the Philadelphia Eagles. So I know sometimes this doesn't translate because, of course, the Browns are, I think, still the number 1 defense in the NFL. But when it translates to points, there's a little bit of difference there. So give me a sleeper defense that people are sleeping on, that moving forward. And what are your thoughts? Do you run a defense week to week, or do you stick with one defense and just run them throughout the year?
My sleeper defense has got to be the Houston Texans. I like what they've done for me in the past couple weeks. They put up 14 last week. They got the interception, 0 points allowed, 2 sacks. They've been consistent for me so far. I've went between them and the Steelers because the Steelers, of course, they definitely cooked, and they really cooked in Dublin this on
Woo!
Sunday with 2 interceptions, 21 points allowed, 6 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. They were all over the place.
Yep.
Of course, like you said, the way that defense is built, TJ Watt being a stud, of course they're going to run numbers. But I'm one of those type of fantasy owners that I have two, and I stick with those two until one tells me no.
Yeah.
And so far, Houston hasn't told me no. And so far, the Steelers haven't told me no. So if it's not broke, do not fix it. I look to interchange these two defenses. But yet again, for the owners out there, you do as is as you will. But as for me, right now, I'm good with my defenses. Houston, Pittsburgh, keep bumping heads, bust those guys, bust their grill, make it happen, baby.
I like it, and well, those are two great defenses too. And I'm of the opposite coin. I tend to look at matchups, so I look at teams that are kind of left on the waiver wire who haven't picked them up, and I look at who they're playing and try to pick up defenses. Very rarely do I have one defense and stick with it because defense is all over the board. Sometimes you just never know. Again, Cleveland, again, number one defense, but just not there fantasy points wise. So, and I know I like to hear what you guys do out there. So again, defensive love. Drop us a line, guys. Drop us a comment. What do you run? Do you stick with one squad throughout the year, or do you kind of go for matchups and kind of flip flop and interchange defenses? So be curious to see that. But yeah, defenses can make or break your week, man. You can get a defense that gets some interceptions. I had lost a couple of leagues this week because the Packers, which were supposed to have a great defense, give up 40. I got negative points. And then your Carolina Panthers, who, yeah, I picked up. I was hoping they were going to continue to run and be like this great story. And yeah, they got me some negative points too because they just they pooped to bed on that one here last week. So needless to say, I'm not ever playing the Panthers again. So I apologize. It's my fault for doing it. I take full responsibility. All Panthers fans out there, I played them in fantasy and they played like that. So I take full responsibility on that one. But I do love a good defense, especially a pick six or a return, that gives you those extra points. It's just money in the bank, man. I love it. But yeah, guys, drop me a comment. Let me know what you guys do out there running your defenses. So pretty curious on that. But Mr. Shannon, now we're going to get into the portion of the show that everybody loves because inquiring minds want to know, who do we start and who do we sit? Who do you like this week? Who don't you like this week? So, Shannon, I'm going to start you off here. Shannon, who are you starting this week in fantasy football?
All right, all right. I'm glad you asked. At the quarterback position, start Jared Goff against these Cincinnati Bengals. It has been pretty much everyone's pleasure to take a defense out that has not been built right, paid, what have you. And of course, with the way that that Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions torched the best defense in the NFL, why not go ahead and beat up on the defense that's not so great? So,
Oof.
Jared Goff, go ahead and start him against the Cincinnati Bengals. Sorry about that. And at the running back position, Devon Achane against my Carolina Panthers, who I cover, the team I cover a lot. I am not looking forward to watching this and getting on the podcast and having to talk about it because the running game has been the Achilles heel defensive-wise for the Carolina Panthers. It has really made their passing defense a little worse. So put Devon Achane in there to move around that defensive line that Idro Evero should have never put in a 3-4, but it happens. So go ahead and put Devon Achane in there. Marvin Harrison Jr. versus the Tennessee Titans. I think Kyler Murray will decide to throw the forward pass a little better against a Titans team that has got their back against the wall and has not found a win just yet. Yep. But play Marvin Harrison Jr., he has been keyed a little more on the offense because of his explosive play his rookie year. I think this time around, I don't think the Titans have enough to cover him and Trey McBride at the same time. One has to give, and I think that forward pass will give to Marvin Harrison Jr. And at the tight end position, Jake Ferguson versus the New York Jets. I don't think it's the Jets defense that is bad. I think it's the inconsistency on the offense that is going to give the Dallas Cowboys the ball. And
Yep.
of course, the Dallas Cowboys were streaking hot after playing the Green Bay Packers and torching their defense. So, hey, let's go ahead and have another defense to torch on the offensive side of the ball. And plus, I'm trying to get brownie points in redemption for absolutely crapping the bed last week. So, give me Jake Ferguson at the tight end spot. Those are my sits. Oh, it was my start.
I like it. I like it. And I tell you what, man, those Dolphin jerseys Monday night were fire. The black with the orange stripe and the teal stripe, dude. That was fire. I've seen some ugly jerseys this year, some alternate jerseys. The Saints were terrible. The
Browns.
The Cardinals ones was okay.
Yeah.
Somebody made them. They said they look like tortilla shells because it was like all with the little spots and everything on them. So I saw that on the internet. They look like so. That made me chuckle. Now I can't unsee it. But yeah, Dolphins, them black jerseys were fire, dude. Just keep them up. So I like that. But great picks there. Yeah, Jared Goff, the Detroit Lions, Bengals, the Bungles are back. It's terrible. Everybody's going to want to get out of there. I have a feeling that Jamar Chase is going to get traded here by Game 5. So let me jump into my starts. You threw Marvin Harrison Jr. in there, who I love. I think he is a stud. He was pretty emotional after his touchdown because I know he really loves this game of football. And when he makes mistakes, he beats himself up for it. But I'm going to start Kyler Murray against the Titans. Again, that Titans team struggling to find an identity. Cam Ward, number 1 draft pick thrown out there. Just, hey, go try to win something. They're struggling a bit. But Kyler Murray, I think, is going to run all up and down that Titans defense. I think they're going to be really, really tired because that offense is no good. So that defense is going to be on the field all the time. So give me Kyler Murray scrambling, rumbling, stumbling, scoring some points there for you against the Titans. And I'm starting old Woodrow, Mr. Woody Marks. You got a friend in me. Let's go against the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens run defense, a little suspect right now, not having Lamar Jackson. So, again, that offense is not going to be on the field a lot. Their defense is, and they're going to get worn down. So, right now, Woody Marks is playing some really, really good football. So, let's go and start with him. At the X-Man is back. Patrick Mahomes needs a number 1, and hasn't really had one this year. Xavier Worthy hurt in the beginning of the year, came out his first game and had a really good game. Now he's going against a Jags defense that has its moments, that gives up some big plays. So give me Xavier Worthy. I think he's going to get integrated into that offense even more now. Now that he's kind of got his legs under him, he's got his first game over. So give me the X-Man starting against the Jags. And I got to start Tyler Warren. I mean, that Colts tight end, they had him running out of the backfield last week, there at the goal line. So you get close to the goal line, don't give the touchdown to the running back, which all you fantasy owners who have Taylor, that there's nothing more aggravating than either a QB sneak, if you have a running back, or them handing the ball to somebody other than your running back. It's just, the Eagles are notorious for doing that because, of course, the tush push, although the fake tush push this weekend helped. But Tyler Warren, he is a stud, man. He is going to be a really, really good tight end moving forward. Again, when the tight end position is really thin, he showed out, and it looks like they're using him around and doing some other things with him. So I really like him against that Oakland Raiders team right now that's playing a little suspect. So give me Tyler Warren versus the Raiders. So, and of course we got some guys that, you really shouldn't play. Of course, last week we had a few guys that we talked about, but we're not perfect. That's okay. That's okay. Fantasy football is not a perfect science. That's what makes this fun. The thrill of victory, the agony of defeat. But you know what? We come back the next week and we do it all over again and we have fun talking it. So who are you sitting this week, Mr. Smitty?
Now, my sits will start with sit Jalen Hurts against the Denver Broncos.
Okay.
I would say sit him because Denver's pass defense, very, very tough. Pat Surtain Jr. up against A.J. Brown. A.J. feeling like he don't even want to be in the building. There's talks of him not even wanting to be with the Eagles right now. The mind frame, the locker room might be a little something that might be suspect.
We'll take him in New York. Hey,
yes.
trade him. Jackson, throwing darts to Brown. But hey,
put him in San Francisco. I'd take him in San Francisco. I mean, I would definitely take the 49ers. Definitely. So, hey, but we've done some things with Anquan Bolden when he left the Ravens. I think he might be a receiver that kind of reminds me of him in a way. So, hey, put him in the uniform with the 49ers right there. But as of right now, he is a Philadelphia Eagle, and Jalen Hurts should not be on your starting list for fantasy football at quarterback. Do not start Jordan Mason against the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns are ill as Hornets after getting torched by a very, very good Detroit Lions offense. I think they will be back, and they love to stop the run. They love to stuff the run. So Jordan Mason might have a little bit of trouble with this Minnesota offense that might be a tad bit inconsistent with Carson Wentz at the quarterback position, not being able to get where he needs to be. Carson got dogged in Dublin. He got beat up in Dublin. That offensive line is a little suspect as well, too. I expect Cleveland to have a field day on defense. Do not play Jordan Mason. And talking to me yet again at the wide receiver spot, do not play Zay Flowers against the Houston Texans defense. Carson Wentz not Carson Wentz, I'm sorry. Cooper Rush may be starting in this game. He might be, he might not be. But also, too, if Lamar Jackson's in, I think Houston's defense has enough to stop this offense that is a little bit beat up. So don't play Zay Flowers. And, of course, he dropped off last week. Trust me, I know this. He dropped off last week. So don't play Zay Flowers and do not play Sam Laporta against the Cincinnati Bengals. And here is why. Because, good Lord have mercy, what do the Detroit Lions have an abundance of? And that's playmakers. They have an abundance of those guys. No disrespect to Sam Laporta, but he's probably going to be the last person to be looked at on the offense because of the running game being as crazy as it is. Amon-Ra St. Brown just making plays after plays after plays, probably in a conversation for best receiver in the NFL, in the conversation, if he's not the best in the top three. So I must say that he'll be arguing with your boy as well, too. He'll be arguing with Puka. He'll be arguing with Justin Jefferson. He'll be arguing with those guys. But I would say poor Sam is going to be caught holding the bag with not so many targets towards him. Do not play Sam Laporta. Those are my sits.
I agree with that. And unfortunately, I on my little tag here, I couldn't spell Bengals right, but they are the Bungles, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, I agree with that because I think Detroit's going to be up so much by the third quarter. They're just going to run the ball and hopefully try to kill the clock. So yeah,
David Montgomery.
I got Gibbs. Give me Gibbs. So let me give you my sits here. I'm sitting Brock Purdy against the Rams. That Rams team is legit. That defense is legit. They gave Danny Dimes some fits. Brock Purdy hasn't been really consistent here, trying to find his groove. Tungens at the tight end position has him some a little bit of showing out right now. But that offense is all run through Christian McCaffrey. They are going to ride him until there is nothing left. He's going to look like a tire on I-95 where it's just treads of, you're just going to see tread all over the asphalt because they're going to just use CMC until he's nothing left. but Brock Purdy's going to have a rough time against the Rams. They are a legit team. The McVay effect is still in full effect. So yeah, Brock Purdy against the Rams, I think that's going to be a bad move right now. Man, I hate saying this because this dude, I had so many just positive thoughts about Ladd McConkey. Ladd McConkey right now has been MIA this year. Just really disappointed. Hasn't really showed up or showed out. Ladd the Impaler, I'm thinking like number one, but he has flopped right now this year. I got a lot of guys in leagues right now trading him and trying to get something for him. But going against the Commanders got a good defense. They're just not throwing him the ball. I mean, they got a good run game. They're spreading the ball around, but I don't see Ladd getting consistent catches, and he's not getting the deep stuff. They're showing that they're throwing the deep stuff to Quentin Johnson, who finally learned how to catch the football. So I guess out of nowhere, again, check him for stick him on them hands. He's got to do something on there. But Ladd, I got to sit him against the Commanders. Travis Etienne against the Chiefs. Look, the Chiefs are going to be up by 40 points. They're going to be throwing the football. So I have a feeling the run game in that game is going to be abandoned fairly quickly. So that Chiefs defense is still really good too. They just play on another level compared to everybody else. They shut down Derrick Henry. If you can shut down Derrick Henry, you sure to heck can shut down Travis Etienne. And then David Njoku versus the Vikings. Again, tight end, just really hasn't shown up this year. Fanning, the rookie tight end there in Cleveland, has done more than Njoku has done, but they're going against a pretty stout Vikings defense. And Joe Flacco is not the answer at quarterback. We saw Dylan Gabriel sprinkled in towards the end there. So I have a feeling that the Flacco era may be ending there in Cleveland fairly soon. But those are my sits right now. So that's what I got. Now, getting towards the end here, we've had a long show, a little technical difficulty in the beginning there, but we're good now. It's time to kind of get into that sleep mode. So, Mr. Smitty, the people want to know, who should we not sleep on?
Do not sleep on Drake May against the Buffalo Bills. Do not do so coming off of a upstart game where they just beat up on my Panthers, who I cover. They beat up on the defense. It was everyone was getting the ball. I said, don't play Stephon Diggs, and Stephon Diggs goes out there and says, you're wrong. Oh, yes. So Drake May, I think, he won't have a very hard time finding the end zone against the Buffalo Bills. I don't think they will end up winning it, but I think Drake May will win in fantasy. So don't sleep on my man Drake May from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. And Kenneth Walker III against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Do not sleep on him. I think that there will be a little bit of the running game being shown in this game. Not saying that Sam Darnold can't get it done. I hope he does it. But I think that Kenneth Walker III will be plugged into that offense and do some things on the ground with the Seattle Seahawks. Nico Collins versus the Baltimore Ravens. Play Nico Collins. I think that he will be okay in this game. I think he will do fine. Probably plug him in at that flex position. Put him in as the flex. Don't expect him to put up maybe 20 points, but anything is possible if Cooper Rush is playing. So that could help you out on that one with Nico Collins in at receiver. And don't sleep on Dalton Kincaid versus the New England Patriots defense. I think Kincaid will get some looks. Shakur and Coleman will be looked at, but also too, that running game is something that might wear him down. And Josh Allen likes to continue plays with the play passing. You might see Dalton Kincaid in the red zone inside that 15-yard line. He might be one of those that's not looked at in the back of the end zone. You might find him in there for a touchdown or two, so don't sleep on Dalton Kincaid. Those are my sleepers.
I like it, man. I like it, especially Kenneth Walker with Charbonnet being injured. If he can stay healthy, He's a dynamic runner, so I definitely like that. And Kincaid been showing up here lately too, so I like that. So, again, getting tired. So let me throw my sleepers in there. I'm gonna jump in here and go throw Cooper Rush in against the Texans because they need to do something. Right now the quarterback play, especially the bottom of the league. Not everybody can draft Patrick Mahomes. Not everybody can have a top quarterback. There are leagues out there, and I'm in one now too that runs with two quarterback slot positions too. So I think Cooper Rush can do just enough to get you something. We'll see what he can do, but if he can dump the ball off short passes, I don't see him going deep down the field. But if you need a desperation move, we're here in week 5, and you're either got one win or no wins. You need to spice it up a little bit. So throw Cooper Rush in there. Why not? My other sleeper, Brashard Smith, for the Kansas City Chiefs, has been worked in to this offense, is getting more usage as we move forward. So don't be surprised to see him really become an integral part of this offense, especially with Pacheco being inconsistent, Hunt not really having the pop he used to have. So fresh legs, rookie legs. But Brashard Smith against the Jaguars, watch out for this young kid. He's a really good dynamic rookie, and I think the Chiefs are going to use him a lot more. And then I got to throw my boy in there, Darius Slayton. Giants gave you a contract bigger than Saquon Barkley got in Philadelphia. So it is time to earn your money. With Neighbors being out, Slayton, you need to do something. So catch some darts from a man dart. You're going against the Aints, which is one of the worst teams in the NFL right now. So Darius Slayton, go out and get him off the waiver wire. He's going to have some big games. Wan'Dale Robinson is going to get his, but he's going to need somebody to go to. And I think Slayton's going to be that guy because he was paid like that guy. So go out there and earn your money, brother. Let's go. And then Brenton Strange for the Jacksonville Jaguars, tight end position. Again, you need someone to get out there and get you some points. He's been like a nice little cuddle party there with Trevor Lawrence there. So I like Strange against the Chiefs. They're going to have to dump the ball off. I think they're going to have to do some short passing. But I like Brenton Strange against that Chiefs defense. He's getting more points. He's getting his usage up a little bit. He's getting his targets week to week have gone up too. So give me Brenton Strange, tight end. And those are my sleepers of the week. And man, I tell you what, Mr. Smitty, it has been a lot of fun here. I thank you very much for joining me. It is an honor to always have you on here with me and a lot of fun. So tell everybody where they can find you.
Once again, I will be in the Cat Cave on Thursday. We got to discuss that super ugly game in Foxborough. I hate having to look at it again and break it down. But unfortunately, that's what I'm probably going to do before the WNBA comes on. And speaking of the WNBA, on Friday, I'll be coming at you with quick hits. We will have a WNBA Finals picture. I'll be talking about round 2. I'll be asking you if you like it rough. And I mean your sports. Get your heads out of the gutters, you sick little monkeys. I'm talking about your sports here. And then I want to talk about what happened with the Phoenix Mercury and the Minnesota Lynx. Did Cheryl Reeve cost her team? What do we see out of the picture for the WNBA? And of course, that CBA is something that we have to talk about with the finals coming up. That will be it for me. Enjoy your sports week. Enjoy your fantasy football. I'm Shannon Smith, and this is Quick Hits.
I appreciate you, man. I'm excited to hear about that. Yeah, lots going on in the WNBA here, and shots are being fired at leadership, which makes for good television here, makes for good podcasting here. So I like it, but it is much needed because there's definitely something wrong going on in the WNBA. So excited to hear that from you, man. And again, a pleasure to have you on there. Guys, thank you so much for joining me here. Again, like and subscribe, here at the Boom Broadcasting Network. Please jump on the Boom bandwagon. Lots of great content going on. So please If you got any questions, comments, concerns, hit me up on the bottom here. Just drop me a comment, and we will see you next week to talk about week 5 and all the excitement that happens. So thank you guys very much for joining us. We'll get another applause. And my man Shannon, have a great day. And guys, go out there, hit that waiver wire hard, set your lineups, go out and win your week. Peace. We'll see you later.